Hey guys, welcome to the Manchester United News channel. Subscribe to the channel to not miss any news, leave your like, and share, you are very important for the growth of the channel. Let's go to the video.
Start with Harry Maguire. Darmesh, broke in the last hour or so. West Ham had this bid rejected.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yep. It emerged in the last half an hour or so that West Ham United made a £20 million bid for the Manchester United defender and former captain now, Harry Maguire, rejected by Manchester United. West Ham now, we think, are deciding whether they're going to go back in with an improved offer for Harry Maguire. The early indications is that they might move on to other targets. It was also thought, aside of the transfer fee, the wages was going to be an issue as well for West Ham United. As far as Manchester United are concerned, their stance on Maguire has not changed at all. It's not as if they're trying to push Harry Maguire out. They see him as a top player. They see him as a key member of the Manchester United squad, and they will only consider offers if they are very, very good offers. And early indications as well is that Harry Maguire has been behaving impeccably. He's with the US, with the squad in the US, and he's played a part in pre-season as well. And it seems like he wants to stay and fight for his place. But West Ham United have gone in, as we expected them to, only £20 million, and it was rejected.
Anton, if you're Harry Maguire and a club comes in and offers just £20 million, do you feel that they really want you and they love you?
The fact that they're putting in a bid tells you that they want you. I understand why you're saying that, because he was bought for £80 million and it's a significant drop in terms of the money that's being offered for you. But if you want to go and play and you want to be recognised as someone who's playing week in, week out, if someone bids for you, that means they want you. And especially where he's been in terms of neglected, not playing, the armband taken away from him, I'd be pushing for that move to happen if I was him. Would you?
Even at that money? Don't you feel it's a bit low?
The money's not his concern. How much West Ham are bidding for him is none of his concern. What's his concern is probably his wages and whether he's going to play or not, whether he fits the mould of the manager. And I can tell you one thing, he does fit the mould of the manager in David Moyes. OK,
so that bid's been rejected, Mark. If it doesn't happen, who else will they be looking at?
West Ham?
Yeah.
There'll be a number of players that West Ham will be looking at. Just to pose the Manchester United side of things with regards to the Harry Maguire situation, the offer from West Ham falls short of what Manchester United value Harry Maguire at. Well short as well. Of course, you have to remember he went in a big money move from Leicester City for around £80 million to Old Trafford. Manchester United are looking for around £40 million, but they would be prepared to compromise slightly if there was a club that came to the table and Harry Maguire was keen to join them. So there could be a little bit of a discount, shall we say, but it's still going to be in and around £40 million. Erik Ten Hag, as Darmesh alluded to, is happy with Maguire. He's a popular figure in the dressing room. He's very well liked. He has played and trained over pre-season like he's fighting for a place in the team. His levels haven't dropped at all. And I think one thing about Harry Maguire and the Harry Maguire story is he's always faced adversity. He's had to climb his way up the Football League from Sheffield United to Hull, Wigan, and earn the right to play at the top table. And he did that getting into the England side. He did that getting to Leicester City and getting that move. And then, of course, to go to Manchester United. You don't just get that move for £80 million without having something about you in terms of character and performances. So I think that's the kind of bigger picture of Harry Maguire's situation. But, of course, the wages will be the biggest stumbling block, I think. And it's important to remember that next summer, Euros, and Gareth Southgate has said to Harry Maguire and every single England player, I need you playing. This season, I need you playing. I need you at your best. I need you at your peak. Otherwise, there's no guarantees.
Let's talk West Ham, Anton. I think they're the only Premier League club who haven't made a significant signing. I think that someone they brought in may or may not be in the first team squad. Mm-hmm. Are you worried at this lack of business?
Yeah, I think as a West Ham fan and a former player, I would have thought business would have been done. You know, it's been known for a long time that Declan was going to go, or it's been on the cards for a long time, I should say. So how targets ain't been fulfilled, only the people at the club know. But for what David Moyes has done at the football club and being one of only 3 managers to win a trophy, me personally, in my personal opinion, got to trust in what he's doing, you know, and I think he's the man who he will get what he wants, I think, in terms of, I know that he likes established Premier League players, and he works best with established Premier League players. And
but there's an issue, isn't there? Because there's someone who's coming above him who thinks differently. So how does that get resolved when the manager and the sporting director or director of football or whatever you call them think in a different way?
That comes to the hierarchy, I think. But David Moyes, no doubt, I think will be there thinking, I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that I've just won a trophy for the football club. Some of the best times, especially in my life, in terms of as a West Ham fan, being able to witness that was fantastic. So he'll be looking at that and knowing that a lot of the fans have that same feeling. So I'm not going to pander to what somebody else wants. That's just come in. I know what works for me as a manager, and I'm going to continue to do that.
Okay, trouble at Mill and all that. Dharmesh, so they didn't get Harry Maguire, or haven't got him as yet. Who are they chasing, West Ham?
Well, in defence, there was talk of Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen, and you can see the link there. You were talking about the new sporting director, Tim Stuyton. Tim Stuyton used to be the sporting coordinator at Bayer Leverkusen. Jonathan Tah is actually at Bayer Leverkusen. The last contract that Jonathan Tah signed at Leverkusen was in 2021. Under the stewardship of Tim Stuyton. So that is one that they will be looking at. I'm not saying they're not going to go back in for Harry Maguire. It's just the noises that we're hearing just now is it's probably going to be too expensive for them to do as a whole package with the transfer fee and the wages. With regard to midfielders, Anton mentioned it there. I mean, the kind of players that David Moyes will want to look at are the ones that are established in the Premier League and have got Premier League pedigree. James Ward-Prowse is a long-term target of West Ham United. They've bid for James Ward-Prowse. Again, they bid £20 million. It seems to be a running theme here. West Ham United bidding £20 million for players. The Southampton director of football, Jason Wilcox, said that the first bid has come in from West Ham United and it was rejected. We think it was 17 million in guaranteed payments plus £3 million in performance-related add-ons. Now, Wilcox also said that the club don't need to sell, but they would consider offers if they were the right offer. Now,
I think in terms of West Ham United and a midfielder, I think the biggest thing that I see is the names that are being talked about, who we're bidding for. We've already got that type of player at West Ham. We've lost a player who's someone who disrupts play, who intercepts the ball, who breaks play up. That's the type of player I think we need to be looking at and trying to buy. And if we can get a Ward-Prowse, a Conor Gallagher, along with that, then brilliant. But I think we need a destroyer in there who's going to do exactly what Declan... We're never going to have someone who's like
Give us a name. Who would do that job for West Ham?
It's an hard one, I think. I'm in an army, it's a hard one. But
I'm not giving you the sporting director's job then.
The guy at Juventus...
Dennis Sicaria.
Yeah. And
Edson Alvarez. There
There
are a couple of other options.
There is a couple.
But look,
bidding for them. That's what I'm saying.
But the thing, it should be said that West Ham are, throwing their net far and wide here. We've mentioned James Ward-Prowse. You mentioned Conor Gallagher. They went in with a bid for Conor Gallagher. That was around £40 million. They're still deciding whether they're going to go back in for him. But talks are ongoing, as far as we're aware, with Juventus over Dennis Sicaria. And there's a link there with Tim Stuyton as well, because when Sicaria was at Borussia Mönchengladbach, Bayer Leverkusen tried to sign Sicaria then under the stewardship of Tim Stuyton. That there's an open dialogue with Ajax over Edson Alvarez. There's also an interest in Scott McTominay at Manchester United. So all of these players, West Ham are interested in. There's Youssouf Fofana as well from Monaco, who's got a year plus one left on his contract. Maybe West Ham can think maybe with that type of contract left, maybe we can get some sort of bargain here. So they are looking far and wide for a position that almost looks impossible to fill, with the way you were saying. You were asking me who goes in there. Maybe it's not just one player, though, is it? Maybe they have to play in a different way. Maybe they have to bring in one or two different players to fill the role that Declan Rice has left.
Yeah, and I think, like I say, Declan is near enough irreplaceable. because of what he brought to the team, his leadership skills, and him as a player. Maybe it is two that we need. And I think, but we're inquiring about players that fit that's the same mould as Declan Rice. We need to start going bidding for them players, because that's the one thing, when I look at our squad, that's the one thing we're missing. That's gone. Are we going to replace that same type of player? I'm
going to jump in because I'm being told, Dharmesh, you've got some breaking news.
Yep, you can see it at the bottom of your screen there. It's the one we have been expecting, and it's Fulham's latest signing. Remember, they signed Raul Jimenez from Wolves earlier on in the week. Well, they have now completed the signing of Calvin Bassey, the defender from Ajax, £18.2 million. This was worth. He completed his medical earlier on today. He finalised that paperwork, and that deal is now done and dusted. It should also be said that Bassey was the choice, finally, of Marco Silva, the Fulham manager, because simultaneously Fulham were trying to agree two different deals at once. One with Calvin Bassey and Ajax, and the other one with Mohamed Salisu at Southampton. And it was Marco Silva whose preferred choice was Calvin Bassey. So Calvin Bassey now a Fulham player for £18.2 million.
Right, Mark, I'm going to bring you in. PSG, you've got a line. What is it?
Usman Dembele, the 26-year-old right winger, can also play on the left-hand side as well. We know that PSG are interested in him, but at this stage, talks aren't advanced. It's unconfirmed.
Well, Erik Ten Hag says that Manchester United need a striker. Are they going to get one? Are they any closer, Dharmesh, to getting one?
I mean, when he's been interviewed this week, Erik Ten Hag has said that Manchester United are making progress. And that tallies with the information we're getting, because an agreement between Atalanta and Manchester United, we're told, is edging closer now. Define edging closer. I know, because we just seem to be talking about this every single day. But the club are still working on a compromise on a fee with Atalanta, we understand they value the player to be around 70 million euros plus performance-related add-ons. Manchester United don't want to go that near that price, hence why open dialogue is still open. And I think Manchester United are encouraged by the fact that Atalanta are still at the negotiating table, even though they've said that this is the price that they want. The big development today, though, is that Atalanta are close to signing a forward of their own now. And he is El Bilal Touré from Almeria. He's been having a medical today. He's going to cost them £26.5 million. He's a Mali international. So is that a sign that they're preparing for life after Rasmus Haaland? Look, United do remain hopeful that they can strike this deal for the Danish international well in advance of the new season. They're in action in just over 2 weeks in the Monday Night Football against Wolves, which of course you can see on Sky Sports. But they do have other options if this deal cannot be finalised. And they've always said they're prepared to walk away from any deal if it doesn't work for them. Conversely, we know that PSG have come in to the mix. They made a bid of 50 million euros earlier on this week. But rather than push United into action, United are completely relaxed about how they're approaching this particular transfer. It doesn't matter what else is happening outside. They know what they can afford. They know what they want to spend. And they're very encouraged by the fact that Rasmus Haaland himself is giving all the indications that Manchester United is his preferred destination.
When you say they're relaxed, do you think Erik Ten Hag is relaxed? Or he's saying, get me a striker and get me one now?
I mean, if behind the scenes, he will be urging the board. Look, but I think it's obvious. We knew from the start of this transfer window that the number one priority and the primary focus for United was, let's get in a striker. And it wasn't just this transfer window. We were talking about this as soon as Cristiano Ronaldo left the club in November. And everyone was saying, right, January, is that the time that United are going to get a number 9? But they realised then that the options available to them in a January transfer window are going to be much less and much worse value than in the summer. Hence why they went for the short-term option with Wout Weghorst, who's now gone back to Burnley and are focusing totally on bringing in one of their primary targets. Okay. Maybe somebody like Rasmus Haaland, if they were looking at him back in January, would have been more expensive. And mid-season, Atalanta was saying he's not leaving.
So, Mark, tell us why they want Haaland.
He's a player that's been watched by a number of Premier League sides, actually. And you just have to look at his recent clubs and trajectory to see just how much he's improved in a very short space of time. He went to Stern Graz in the summer, in January 2022, for €2 million. Just 6 months later, he finds himself going from Austria to the Italian Serie A league, and for a fee of around 17 million. So in the space of 6 months, he's gone from being worth 2 million to 17 million. But the reason why Premier League sides are watching him, and you can see from this goal, good quick feet for a big target man. He's a physical presence. He's got a brilliant work rate.
And he's quick, isn't he?
He's very quick. He can run the channels. He can work for the team. But crucially, he has the profile of a player that can play in the Premier League. And we mean from a physicality point of view. Someone that can, Anton will understand and know, when you're a striker in the Premier League and you're up against 2 or 3 centre-halves, you've got to be able to get your shoulders out and deal with that side of it, the intensity and the pace that is played in this country. And he has all the attributes to do that. That's why scouts have been watching him, and that's why Manchester United will be looking at him. You mentioned Wout Weghorst. Everyone went, really? Manchester United? But it was his metrics and data, the work that he did off the ball, the work rate, the running into the channels, the defending from the front, the front press. That's what Rasmus Haaland will also bring to Manchester United, should they get the deal done.
So, Anton, Darmesh says United are relaxed about this, but are they leaving it a bit late?
Yeah, I think they're leaving it very late. I think bringing in a striker who's unknown to the Premier League and not giving him time to bed in with his new teammates and a new way of playing, I think it could be something that isn't good for the player and the football club. As you said, they're playing in a few weeks. They start the Premier League, and I think you need to have time to be embedded, especially in a club like Manchester United, where a new number 9 coming in, we've known for a long time that's the position they need to strengthen in. They need a new number 9. So the pressure on whoever comes in now is going to be immense. Yeah. So to come in straight away and have to hit the ground running with as less prep as possible is going to be a hard ask. That's why I don't understand, and I do understand, I should say, because obviously FFP plays a massive part in this, and they've gone and bought Mason Mount for £50 million, but
and Nana as well,
but Kane's there for the taking now. When we're looking at it was reported, I think, that Joe Lewis had come out and said if he's not going to sign the deal, then we've got to sell him. That's go time. And you're talking about a player who is known in the Premier League to score 20-plus goals a season, which is what Man United are crying out for.
Spurs are saying we're not selling to the Premier League club, though, aren't they? That's what they're saying.
I get that, but you don't know until you start pressing the right buttons. Can Man United press the right buttons? They're Manchester United. They should be able to.
Well, one thing I would say about Rasmus Haaland, I'm sure everything that Anton is saying there, Erik ten Hag will be aware of, that he hasn't been in the Premier League. He's young. He's just breaking onto the scene right now. So with that in mind, United will probably still try and ease him in. So, don't be surprised if against Wolves, if they've got the steal done, he doesn't start. And it's maybe Martial or Rashford. And then if United get off to a good start in that game, it'll be easier for him to merge in with that squad. Just say, for example, United are 2-3 nil up with about 20 minutes to go. What a perfect introduction that is for a new signing, just to bed him in that way.
Everyone knows Manchester United need a number 9. So does that make it really, really difficult for them to get one in?
Yes, because they're Manchester United, and we've spoke about it so many windows that there is a Manchester United tax on players. They have to pay above and beyond, and you've seen it with so many of their acquisitions recently. They have to go into the market with a bit more cash because everyone thinks they've got huge amounts of money. I think the other thing that's a big factor in all of their business over the course of this summer is this takeover that has been going on and on and on and on. And if there was a clear owner at the football club who could say, right, Erik, that's your budget, go and build a strong squad, they would have gone and operated very differently in this window.
Yeah, all right. Anton's mentioned him already. We are going to talk about him as well.
Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel to not miss anything. Leave your like and your comment, that is very important for the channel growth. Until the next video.